Hi, I'm Nhys Glover, and I'm a teacher and author, and I'm the creator of the Psyches Key tools for personal development. Okay, Psyches Key, the name, it relates to the Goddess Psyche. Okay, in Greek myth, Psyche was the only human being who was ever turned into a god, became immortal, and so she is always associated with transformation, and the word psyche actually comes from the Greek language, and it means soul. So it's a way of saying that this is about your soul, and this is about finding answers to the questions that you have about the important things in life through asking your soul. And the key, and she is holding a butterfly, and she's offering that butterfly to you. And Psyche is associated with butterflies, which is transformational. And so the key is the answers that you're looking for from that level of awareness. And it's the awareness, it's a level that we don't usually access during waking hours. It's normally only available to us when we're dreaming, and we dream in symbols, which is the only language that that part of our brain has to communicate with us. So this gives your deepest levels of yourself a language in which to communicate with you. And so that's what Psyche's Key does, and it uses the very ancient and very powerful formation of the labyrinth to get you to that level of consciousness, so that you can get the answers that you need. It also has healing built in, which I think is very different from a lot of the tools that are out there at the moment. Most tools that people are using are for insight and for guidance, but this one also has healing built in, so that when you identify an issue that is challenging you, it then helps you to remove that challenge by a very specific process that goes along with it. So that was really important to me when I was creating the game and the reflection board, was so that people didn't just feel as if fate was out there and they didn't have any control over what was happening in their life, that they could actually take an interactive role in their own lives. And as a coach, that's one of the important things, to empower people to be able to take control of their life. So using the soul's input, it helps people to move more effectively through their life, taking into consideration that particular other side that they may not normally have access to or listen to. So yeah, that's what it is in a nutshell. Yeah, there's two at the moment. The first one was the board game that I created, and I laughingly call that Monopoly for the spiritually minded. So you use dice and you throw the dice and you move around the board, and but unlike any games that people normally play, it's not competitive, and everybody who's playing is playing to support each other to reach their goals. And it can either be done as a group, which I do in game days. So a group of people will come together and play their board game over a day. It takes about as long as it takes to play Monopoly. And I also do personal journeys, so that people who really have an issue that they want to deal with and they want to do it one-to-one, they'll come to me and we'll play, because you can. It's not a game that you have to have other people to play with. You can play alone. And so people will come and they'll really nut out an issue and get really deeply into what their soul has to say about a particular question. But what people were then saying to me was, okay, that's fantastic, I've got such really great insights, but I want to be able to take it home and do it at home. But because of the complexity of it, I was kind of reluctant to do that. And so I went back to the drawing board and I created the reflection board, which is what I've just released recently. And it got the best of the board game elements. So you still get messages from your soul, but it removes the game component. So it becomes more of a meditation tool. you move around the labyrinth formation, listening to an audio, and you clear your chakras as you go, your energy fields. Then you ask your questions, and it's very fast and only takes 22 minutes to do. And by the time you're finished, you've got your energy fields feel great, and you've got answers, and you've cleared stuff about your journey that you're on at that time. And I'm getting some really good feedback on the results of that, even though it's only been out for the last 3 weeks. So one of the really important parts of the reflection board, and who it's really designed for, are people who have difficulty with normal meditative practices. We in the West find it difficult to stop. You know, we have stressful lives, our minds are always on the go, and normal meditation requires that you sit and you focus and you go inward and you try to still your mind. Well, some people, that's very difficult to do, and so the reflection board is really for those sort of people, because you're actually physically doing something. You've got your eyes open and you're moving your finger around the board, and the labyrinth formation actually does the work. It does the shifting into the deeper levels of awareness for you, so you don't have to work hard to get there. Okay, so what you're looking at here is the reflection board, which is the modified version of the board game. Okay, so what you would do is you'd stick the audio on, and as long as you can cope with my Australian accent, you would be guided to relax. And it's like a relaxation tape in one sense, but instead of just sitting there with your eyes closed and being asked to visualize, you open your eyes and you would put your finger on the board and you would move around the board. And as you moved around, each of the colours, that's why it's so vibrant colour-wise, you're actually focusing your eyes on the colours, and that's helping to clear the chakras, each of your the 7 chakras. So as you're moving along the board, you're clearing those chakras. The first time you make your way in, you would clear your energy fields. And then the second time you would go in, and this is all done in 22 minutes, by the way, so it's only a very short period of time, but very intense period of time, very effective. So you would then be asked, okay, so what's the journey you want to focus on? What do you want your soul to tell you about your journey that you're on in your life? And you would then choose a key. So the butterflies are the keys. So you choose a key, and it might be about joy, right? They're just one-word answers here. And so as you were going in the second time, you would be looking at that issue of joy and how it relates to the question you have in mind. But there'll be a blockage or a challenge that's in your way. Every destination in our life always involves challenges, right? So in this case, we might choose the card, and the challenges with the reward that comes from overcoming that challenge. So the challenge here might be, you might be challenged by arrogance. I don't know what that might relate to, but often the arrogance may not be yours. It might belong to somebody else, and their arrogance is blocking your path to joy. It doesn't matter who it belongs to. It's still in the way, and so the audio will help you to clear that from your path. It's just a very simple, almost like an affirmation, but it's a very powerful request to have that removed from your energy field. And so you then get the reward of, in this case it's talking about humility, but it may not be humility. It may simply mean that you no longer have a negative charge attached to when somebody's arrogant towards you. All right, most of us would react to that. Now, I won't take that situation away, it won't stop that person being arrogant, but instead of feeding into it and feeling hurt or upset or angry by that arrogance, you'll be able to handle it with much more effective communication because there's no negative charge anymore. So that's the way the healing works. It doesn't take your problems away because that's why you're here, you know, to learn and to grow. But it takes the negativity, a lot of the emotional impact of the events, so that you can move more effectively through your life. And that's what your soul wants you to do. And if it highlights something that is ready to move, ready to be shifted and got rid of, then you know that it's going to be effectively healed. And I think that's something that I've learned over the years. It's like intellectually or from your left hemisphere decide you want to clear something, and you can work really hard to try to clear that. But if your soul's not ready to let it go, then it's not going to be moved. But as I found with this and the board game, the soul indicates what it is that needs to be removed, and then it just lets it go. It's really amazing how easy it is.
So it helps you address things that are going off.
Yeah. And you don't even have to understand necessarily what the issue is. You know, that's the brain starting to intellectualize everything and analyze. We've got to stop analyzing everything. We need to just be able to live and go and feel our feelings. And so, so you can bring up something, and even if you can't relate to it, your soul can, and you can just ask for the release. It takes place, and the next time, you know, you're doing something, you'll notice that you don't react the same way as you used to. And it's just happened effortlessly. Okay. And that's one of the things that I was saying before, but it's like we have to be shifting things very fast. Okay, we're in transition. Planetarily, we're in transition, and so whatever we used to do, and it took a long time to do, we don't do that anymore. We have to do it quickly, move it on, and then get on with the next thing. Right.
So Psyches Key will help us to achieve.
Absolutely, yeah, and simply and easily and quickly. So.